this thing as Jamaicans. There's a few things. In Jamaica, we got a saying. We said, we're searching. Jamaicans, on the one hand, we're looking for something, but on another hand, you say to a Jamaican, you try and tell them something, Jamaican tell you, chop, I know that already. That's very dangerous. Once you say you know something already, what you're doing is you're closing off any avenue to further learning. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that a man who goes out in search of knowledge really never comes back. Why? Because knowledge is infinite. There's always something new to learn, brother. But sometimes we become arrogant and we think that we already know something which disallows us from learning. Let me show you something. A child is very intelligent. Why is a child very intelligent? Because a child is constantly asking the question, why? You say to your child, you're not going out this evening. Why? You can't. Why? Your small children at home will ask you the same question 100 times. Why is this, Dad? Why is that, Mum? Why is this? Why is that? And now when we're a foolish parent, we say to the child, shut up. You ask them a question, shut up. But the child is displaying supreme intelligence in constantly asking why. Because that's the only way you learn. Guess what happens to us as we mature? As we mature, we stop asking questions because we think that if we ask a question, the other person will think that we're foolish.
True, very
So
good.
instead of now asking questions and growing in knowledge, wisdom and understanding on a constant basis, we stop asking questions and we start bluffing that we know the answer. And while we're bluffing, we're degenerating and going backwards because we've stopped learning.
We've stopped learning. And you know what, brother, we've got a few more minutes left. I really wanted to touch down on the statement that you made about Nelson Mandela. As most people think he's a great man.
Well, my brother, Nelson Mandela is a great man. He is a great man, brother. There's no question about that. And he has suffered tremendously just for having the aspirations for freedom, justice and equality for his people in South Africa. But what a lot of people may not know is that for the 27 years that Brother Nelson was incarcerated, the enemy was slow poisoning him. And they came on a documentary on the television and admitted this. They said we were slow poisoning Mandela for the 27 years. And we never released him until we were convinced that his faculties were no longer sufficient where he would pose a threat to us. And so when he came out now, they can play music, get children to play some steel panels, some music, and tell Nelson to dance. And he is that elder statesman now that they want to push all around the world and say, look at this wonderful black man. This is the role model for you because he's not violent. He's not against us. He's not going to fight us. He came out of prison and he shook our hands and he said unity. Let's have a unified South Africa, which again is not a bad thing, brother, but you got to understand this. In that decision to say, let's all come together, let's have a truth and reconciliation. Let's have, and many people don't understand that. Many of those white racist apartheid regime people down there, brother, they even refused to partake in the truth and reconciliation. They were so arrogant that they said we're not even being a part of that, and they were still allowed to go about their business, still allowed to be free after murdering black people like we were flies, brother. And this is wrong. You see, brother, no self-respecting Jew. You can't go to a self-respecting Jew and say to them, look, man, you need to forget about the Holocaust and what happened in Nazi Germany. Just forget that. That's old stuff, man. Leave them old people alone who you're still looking for. The Jew will tell you, get thee behind me, fool. Because the Jew knows that if he don't pursue those people and get justice for what those people did, then history may repeat itself sometime in the future. So that's wisdom. And we must do the same. We should have done the same thing, brother. Those wicked demons who did their evil to us in South Africa, brother, in Rhodesia, what was Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe, we should have run them into court, brother, put them on trial, and they should have been executed if they were found guilty of committing genocide against black people. But we didn't do that. And when Mandela didn't do that, brother, he opened Pandora's box of evil that these people could continue to perpetuate. Now, Winnie Mandela, you know, brother, she said, no, I'm not shaking their hands. This is the enemy because, brother, as much as he suffered when he was in the prison for 27 years, she suffered outside. And they did some terrible things to that sister. And they destroyed her while she was, you know, banned from here, banned from there. Everywhere she went, she had to have these passes. And they were just harassing the sister for the 27 years. And Winnie knew that these people haven't changed, that they're still the same old enemy. And Nelson decided to go along with them. Winnie said no. And so they began to now slander Winnie and accuse her of all manner of evil. And eventually Nelson even let her go. The sister that kept his name alive for 27 years, Nelson let her go, brother. And Winnie Mandela was literally ridiculed, and she's still ridiculed today by even many black people who don't understand the sacrifice that that woman made on behalf of the liberation struggle.
You said yourself, divide and rule.
Absolutely, brother, and that's how they do it. And so, you know, I love Brother Nelson. I respect him, brother. But I'm not foolish, brother, to think that I'm going to now look at that man as the man that I should be looking to as an inspiration to me in this struggle. The struggle ain't over, brother. The struggle didn't finish in the 60s or finish when they said that apartheid was over. Apartheid is alive and well. It's just metamorphosed now into something more sophisticated. But the devil remains the devil. Satan remains Satan. And he has got not one bone of compassion in his body, brother. And his intention, by the way, right now as we speak, is to recolonize Africa. That's what the attack on Libya is all about. Got nothing to do with protecting Libyans.
Really?
Oh, yes, sir.
No, I'm surprised you say that.
This is the reality of what we're looking at when we're looking at this genocidal attack on the Libyan people.
We've got a minute left, and they've got Gaddafi on war crimes charges. I wondered quickly if you got any idea.
Again, brother, you look at this International Criminal Court, brother. The Americans have bullied and have told this body, which is basically, again, a tool of the Americans, as the United Nations is a tool of the Americans and the British and the so-called allied countries in the West. They've told them that no American must ever be brought before the International Criminal Court. George Bush should be before the International Criminal Court, even before Saddam. Tony Blair, all of them are war criminals, brother. And so this is pure hypocrisy to be now...
We're finishing. Sorry, brother.
Oh, brother, this not good, man. You need a 2-3 hour show, brother.
Alright, son, I like to listen to Cyrus the Virus on the Typical Topical Afrotropical Show. It's proper stuff, it's good stuff. Yeah, we like it, it's proper apple crumble. With a little bit of cream on 93.2.